Hello, everyone. Welcome to the 5 Minute Major podcast, St. Louis's new hockey podcast with your hosts, Josh and Mike. We're super excited to dive into all things hockey with all of you beautiful viewers and listeners. Things you can expect from us are opinions, analogies, stories, and more from a diehard fan's point of view. We have a real and raw emotion for the sport, and we know you do too. So we feel it's important to connect with you all because sometimes those crazy trades and contracts, etc., that go through your mind might not be that crazy to us. And we want to share a little background about ourselves and why have we become so passionate about hockey and the St. Louis Blues. Alrighty, Josh, we're going to start talking about one of the biggest accomplishments any diehard hockey fan can have, and that is season tickets, baby. And guess what? We got ours.
We finally got them. It only took us since third grade talking about it to make it, but fuck, we finally made it. Started with that weekend package, worked our way up, and look at us now. Half season, work our way up to full season. Slow and steady wins the race, right?
Hopefully. You know, that's a big, tall order to pay for homies in this day and age, but we'll make it happen.
We'll figure it out. It's one way or another, you know?
Yeah. We gotta stick together on this.
Jeez, yeah. We picked a hell of a time to start. Last year was one of the worst seasons, so clearly we had to buy in when they sucked. So it was great.
I know.
Hit the ground running is all we can do.
You know, that's a pretty good segue into our next topic because, I mean, August was crazy, bro.
Dude.
This might have been the craziest August offseason I can think of.
I mean, it's clearly the nightmare of every Edmonton Oilers fan. So, you know, we're just benefiting from their nightmares right now. Because who would have seen two offer sheets and us matching it and getting those two players that, truthfully, I thought we were going to be lucky if we got one.
Exactly. And it's kind of crazy because I totally forgot this was a thing. Like, Doug Armstrong literally pulled out, like, Section 9, 2.A of the rule book. Like, oh, yeah, you guys forgot about this little tidbit?
I mean, I think most Blues fans have the nightmare of the Scott Stevens fiasco. So, like, that right there is the epitome of offer sheets. And then going back to the last, like, current offer sheet, I mean, you're talking Carolina and Montreal and their pissing match over Kotkaniemi. Sebastian Aho. Yeah.
That was so weird.
Yeah, Sebastian Aho could have been on your Montreal Canadiens, and they still would be crap. But, you know, hey.
Yeah. Let me say the official statement. The St. Louis Blues officially offered and signed restricted free agents Dylan Holloway and Philip Broberg from the Edmonton Oilers. At first, I'm thinking, I don't even remember seeing these guys ever until, like, freaking Stanley Cup playoffs.
Yeah, I mean, I knew Holloway. Holloway was your typical, like, bottom guy that was moving up, and he got the benefit of playing with McDavid on and off. But, like, I mean, that was the only guy I'd heard of. I hadn't heard of Philip Broberg. I mean, but I think his history right now after watching him in the playoffs, this guy's ready to play.
I agree. And it's such a big part of what we're trying to do in St. Louis is, like, stay big, get younger, and we really needed a puck-moving defenseman with a left-handed shot more than, like, anything known to mankind. So we kind of hit every head of the nail with that one. Now, it's 2 years, $4.6 million cap hit for Broberg for
and I think he got offered 2 years, $1.1 million by Edmonton. So, like, it's over a 250% increase. I mean, but here you go. I mean, he's a first-round draft pick. I mean, that was going to cost us plenty. And the rumors are out there that we wanted Philip Broberg and Holloway in a trade that Edmonton wanted Pavel Buchnevich. So I think we just said, fuck you to Edmonton. And it was like, we'll keep Buchnevich and we'll take both your players. And you can't do anything about it.
That's so true. I mean, dude, I'm not gonna lie. I was on the Bucci trade train for a while.
I mean, I think we all were. I love Bucci. God love you, bud. If you ever listen to us, we love you. We love you. But we were down bad, and you were the only thing worth anything on our team at that point.
Yeah, you should take that as a compliment.
As a compliment. We wanted you to go win a cup.
Yeah, no shit.
But, yeah. I mean, also we have to say, like, they didn't match, but I mean, we still traded. We had to get the picks back from Pittsburgh that we had to give up to dump Kevin Hayes, which failed experiment. Let's be honest, it just never worked out. And then, I mean, we sent Paul Fisher and a third-round pick in 2028. Alexander Steen, we're trading your picks away already, so buckle in, buddy. You better have those prospects working.
Yep.
And Paul Fisher was a third-round pick from, I think, 2023, or a fifth-round pick from 2023. So, like, Notre Dame defenseman, really haven't heard much.
Yeah.
He's a filler. It was to just finish the deal.
I think we kind of know our guys, like even our prospects. I think we kind of know the ones that we're really trying to push for.
Yeah,
you know, the Dvorskys, the Snuggaroos, the blah blah blah,
the Lindsteins,
yes, like the Swedish boys, and the fact that we didn't even really lose anything. We actually probably got better from this because we have like the youngest like draft. Or what is it? Prospect pool.
Prospect. We have a very young prospect pool, and I mean, you look at guys under the age of like 24 that are all first round draft picks. You're looking at double digits now. I mean, which signed
is kind of crazy for a team that's like middle of the road. Like,
but from all the interviews and all the stuff about these two guys, they're part of the plan and want to be here and want to be part of that young core.
I mean, sorry.
That's half the battle. Like, if you have guys that are willing to be part of the plan, that's all you need. And I think this team has been dying for a young, big defenseman that can move the puck.
100% true.
Because, I mean, once you get past Parayko, I mean, you're dealing with the senior citizens in a way. And then, I mean, we truly never recovered after losing Pietrangelo. And everyone wants to say Pietrangelo was a guy. But Bouwmeester and Gunnarsson, man. The two unsung heroes of that cup run, Boom Boom Gunnarsson and Steady Eddie Bouwmeester. So, I mean, I think it could turn out that I think Broberg could be a reincarnation of Bouwmeester. And I mean, that's a bold statement, but I mean, I think this could be the guy we've been waiting for.
I don't even think that's bold, bro. Let's see. He was a +8 in 10 games in the playoffs last year, which is crazy for a young buck. And he wasn't even playing like huge minutes, was he? He was just like filling in wherever they needed him, or was he on the PP?
So I don't think he was playing major minutes. He was playing, I think, by the end, 17, 20 minutes a night. But like, it was terrible management because he played just a couple games over the minimum that would have allowed him to be an RFA.
Right.
So Edmonton fucked themselves on this beginning. Like, they did that to themselves. They weren't paying attention. They could have did better cap management, better management of players, and they wouldn't have been in this situation. And Broberg requested a trade. He requested a trade. He went back to the AHL, was playing power play, penalty kill, and 30-plus minutes a night in the American Hockey League.
30.
He was a workhorse. So, like, I mean, 6'3" boy, elite skating.
Yeah.
And he doesn't have to be the next Alex Pietrangelo or next Chris Pronger. He just needs to be a top 4 defenseman.
Exactly.
Because right now we do not have a solid D until we did this move. And I think it's solidified the group going into next season.
It's so true. I think that people need to stop worrying about the money aspect of it because we have so much of it. Like, we're going to have enough money to sign Hofer and Neighbors to extensions.
Yep.
And these Edmonton fans, better watch your back about Neighbors. We're going to offer sheet. You're not going to offer sheet shit, bro. You're not even going to be able to sign Draisaitl or Bouchard.
No.
You're fine.
And they're going to have to decide. And they're going to pick Bouchard. And he's their only defenseman they have right now with an aging defensive group. And I mean, you ship Cody Ceci out, which when they traded Cody Ceci away, I was like, this is it. We're going to get Dylan Holloway, and I'm not going to be disappointed because he has potential to be a top 6 forward. What he's going to be for this team, I think he's playing on your third line, or the bold statement, they move him to center, and he's filling in as a center because I think this team is better not having Buchnevich as a center going into next year.
I'm like, yes, I agree. So it's such a versatile move. Just to Holloway's point, 5 goals in the playoffs.
Yeah.
I mean, even though you're playing with the best player in the world in a long time, but still, you're finishing the passes in the playoffs in a high pressure moment. You're still a kid. It's great shit.
Yeah. I mean, was he 23?
Yeah, they're both 23. So, like, I think he carries a great power forward presence. Like I said, he's young, but he's really what we need. Just like he's gonna be able to fill in a void no matter
Yeah.
what, and that's
And
the same feeling I have with Broberg. So
yeah. Well, here's the thing. Like, small and fast doesn't win in playoffs. I'm sorry.
does it?
The recipe for success is big, nitty gritty, cross check you in the back, win the board battles in the corner, and get goals in the dirty spots.
That's so true,
And
brother.
I mean, if this guy can be similar to a Jake Neighbors and you got a Holloway and Jake Neighbors kind of mentality, I think that's a solid group, and you just got to find the center to go with them. And I think
It's
maybe that's a Schenner, but we'll
yeah.
see. We'll see.
I mean, I think you know what, like Toronto's kind of the epitome of that. Like, just kind of a little bit. It's not a segue, but it's just in a comparison. Like Mitch Marner and Matthews. Well, Matthews can hit well, but like Mitch Marner and William Nylander, they're pretty boys. They can score a bunch of goals that get you to where you need to be.
But don't
And then
show
you
up in the
get
playoffs.
they'll get to the playoffs and they're gonna get their ass beat.
Yeah.
It's what it is. Boston is like 38 years old all across the board, and they can still beat your ass.
Yeah.
That's not a good look.
No.
They had Pat Maroon out there beefing up.
And God love our boy from the Lou, but the man is slow, fat,
so
and
old.
so old, and
Like-
will have more cups than I think the vast majority of St. Louis born hockey players.
Easily.
And
He might have the most.
I think he has the most right now.
That's a great stat. Like,
But I think one of those things, I mean, you got the Kachucks, but I mean, unless Brady gets out of Ottawa, and
yeah.
the prayers maybe one day he's wearing the blue note, but I just don't see him winning a cup in Ottawa.
No.
And Matthew, I mean, he has one, but I mean, how long can Florida keep going?
I think that's such a good point. If we want to win, dude, we got to stay big. That's how we did it. Like,
Gotta stay big.
We played so mean. Like, we caught everyone off guard, and we still scored goals.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, that's just you have to be all around
huge. And you roll
gritty.
4 lines. You got to roll 4 lines. Edmonton could not run with 4 lines, and they had to go out and sign Victor Arvidsson and get Jeff Skinner and pay these guys money. And I mean, what they get is they lose 2 prospects under the age of 25 that were first round picks. So that's the other thing. They have no draft capital going into next year, so they get a 2nd round pick, a 3rd round pick, an additional 3rd round pick from us. And for them, this is a win now or bust scenario because you're wasting the years of probably the greatest hockey player in our lifespan.
maybe top 3 all time when it's all said and done.
I think he'll be top 3 all time.
But that's the point I was going to make is that it's do or die. Like Edmonton, they're saying, oh, we're going to try and make a mid-season move, and it's like that's still your plan is to go all in then. So if you don't win, Draisaitl's gone. He's signing in San Jose or something to play with frickin' Celebrini.
Oh, don't you worry. The Blues will be sitting there in the nightmares of every Edmonton Oilers fan going, we'll just take Draisaitl from you real quick too, okay? Have a good night,
imagine?
boys. Oh, my God. We're immediate. We're no longer a retool, no longer a rebuild. We're going.
It's, yeah.
But, I mean, I think this has led us to looking at all these RFAs that are still out there.
Yeah.
And, I mean, is anyone going to get offer sheeted? I think that's the big thing. And it's big name people.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of restricted free agents out there.
And it's not your guys that, like, you don't care about. Like, these 10 guys almost. I mean, Swayman's still sitting out there. Boston doesn't have a goalie right now. You traded away the dynamic duo of Ullmark and Swayman. And now Swayman's just chilling by himself.
Yeah, you know what? He really showed how amazing he can be. I was so impressed with him. Like, beyond impressed. He dominated, and they still couldn't fucking win. Like, their team just wasn't built the right way. Like, their culture in Boston is so good. I appreciate the way they play the game. And it just makes me mad that they're good all the time, but they can never win, which makes me happy. So they're kind of like us in a sense, right?
Yeah.
But this whole Swayman thing, it's impossible. Like, if this ever happened, it would be the funniest thing ever. Like, for them to lose Swayman right after they traded away a Vezina winning goalie.
I mean,
Like,
and that's the thing. I think they have the money that I think they're saying he could get 8.25 million, which
that's bonkers.
that's crazy. I mean, but then again, like look back, Jordan Bennington, we gave 6 million, and now look at us going 8.25, 6 million is a bargain.
Exactly.
So
Yeah. I
the
think
cap's going up. The cap's going up one way
cap's
or
going up.
another. We're gonna be fine.
Everyone, get your head out of the gutter. The cap's going up. We're fine.
The cap is going up. So everyone just needs to take a breath. We have money, and
Yeah,
Torrey Krug will be gone at some point too, and we'll have even more money. So it's fine.
that's a whole nother point we can
Yeah.
talk about eventually.
All right. Moving on to Detroit. What are they doing? The Steve Yzerman era. Like, my God. We're going to build a team. We're going to win a cup. Bro, now you got RFAs. You haven't done anything. You tried the veteran route. You still didn't win. And, I mean, David Perron can fix the team, but he can't fix your team, clearly, Detroit.
No, I think Prawn was such a good signing for them, and I think it's a good signing for Ottawa, even though it's probably an overpay up there. But even then, it doesn't matter because they're fucked anyway. Ottawa sucks. But Detroit, this whole Yzer plan, it's not working right now. Like, I don't know what his whole deal of waiting is. Is he like waiting for a splash? Does he still want to sign a big name? Like, he already signed Kaner.
He signed Kane. But, like, you got Kaner coming from the retirement home. Kaner's not the same player that he was. Like, I mean, Kaner could still put up 25 goals for you, which is good.
Easily.
But, like, you're sitting on a young defenseman here with Sider, who, I mean, they have to match. If you lose him, like, what are you doing? Because that is your cornerstone defenseman going. You let what's his name? The guy that went to Vancouver.
Hronik.
Yeah, Hronik went to Vancouver. I mean, I thought that guy was going to ride with him, but you trade him out or let him walk, and now he's sitting in Vancouver. So, I mean, are they going to have
in a way better spot than Detroit is right now?
Yeah.
I mean, I thought they were going to go to the Cup last year.
Yeah. So I mean, let's say he has to get matched if he gets offer sheeted, but I don't think anyone's going to pay him, and I think he gets a bridge deal because I don't know if Yzerman's plan has them locking people down long term. And then you go to Lucas Raymond. Like, what are we doing here? Your cornerstone forward?
It's literally the same situation. Like, it's the two young guns that I think are electric when they play. The city loves them.
Yeah.
They produce at this young age, too. Like, Moritz Seider, if one point that I wanted to make is that he's fucking, like, Nick Lidstrom's baby.
Yeah.
He's a Swede. Like, why isn't he still getting signed for big money already? He should be getting a ticket. And Lucas Raymond, I just love the way he plays. He's got that gritty, like, kind of that power forward mentality. Like, he gets dirty, and he still fucking rips goals, bro.
Yeah.
Like, so I don't know. Like, if it were to happen, Lucas fits right in with the Blues, man.
Oh yeah.
He's kind of like a low grade Matt Kachuk, kind of like a B or B minus, like B grade Matt Kachuk that could fill in.
But that's the Blues mentality. We don't want the superstar. We want your A minus, your B plus kind of guys.
That's
and
so
we'll
true.
beat you with 4 lines of B plus and C plus guys who came to work because that's the St. Louis mentality.
Blue collar.
Baby.
Yeah, and that's like, if that were to happen, it wouldn't make sense. Like, that we did it, I'd be like, what? We're going to the playoffs, baby. But, like, I don't know. It would just be so weird. So weird.
I mean, I feel good going into this year, but I mean, we're still young and we're still building, so we'll see.
Yeah.
But the next guy that I'd feel real good about getting is Seth Jarvis. He is the guy on this list that if you're Carolina and you lose him, yikes. I mean, he was a monster season last year. 33 goals, 67 points, and a plus 23. Okay, where do I sign? We'll take him. If you don't want him, Carolina, come on.
I mean, he obviously ate his fucking Wheaties in the offseason.
Oh, yeah.
Or, like, I don't know if Rod was just like, you're going to be our guy this year. Because he was everywhere. Like, I didn't see a play in the playoffs where Jarvis wasn't involved. So it was just wild. I don't know.
He was all over. The man probably eats like crap. He talks about he has no pregame routine. Everyone, he's not a Matthew McKinnon who's eating. Everyone's eating pasta and veggies,
Yeah, I know.
water, no partying. Seth Jarvis is like, I'm gonna drink a Red Bull. I'm gonna hop on the ice. I'm gonna go score a couple goals. And I'm gonna go home.
Hey, Ovi's been doing it for fucking 20 years. Who gives a shit, Red and white pasta mixed in some Dr. Pepper on the bench, and that'll get you 50 goals.
I mean, hey, that's the recipe for success. I think guys need to do it. I mean, throwback to guys in the locker room smoking cigarettes and drinking beer.
Yeah.
Brett Hull did it. Look at him now.
Yes. One of my favorite players, Zubov, baby. He was Yeah. I mean, either way, Seth Jarvis, he's getting paid, bro.
He has to.
If he doesn't get paid in Carolina, he's getting paid somewhere else. He'll get overpaid. I mean, if an offer sheet were to come through with that, I think Carolina would just explode. Like, they're already kind of in that weird decline where it's like they're still a good team, but they just lost Brady Shea, right?
Brady Shea.
Nashville.
Yeah, you lost Brady Shea. You lost Brett Pesce.
That's a kind of a cornerstone.
I mean, yes, you have Jacob Slavin. And I mean, I think Jacob Slavin, favorite defenseman right now in the NHL, in my opinion. I think he is top tier, does not get talked about. He's steady, doesn't mess up, can run the power play, can run your penalty kill, can eat 27 minutes a night. And clearly, they knew what they had when they let Justin Falk go to us. So, I mean, I think he was the next coming, and Justin Falk was a good cornerstone for them for a lot of years. And I mean, I think if we can get the Justin Falk of a couple of years ago, I think we're going to be benefiting from it this year too. But that's a lot of hope and aging defenseman, which, I mean, I know your defense can go a little bit older, but I mean, 2 years ago, that man was on Norris talks. So, like, let's see.
Yeah, weird. Really weird. He was such a big point getter for us.
Yeah.
And then, I mean, I think, I just don't know. I have a weird feeling that they're going to be stagnant. Like, even if they keep Jarvis, like, their goalie situation's weird. And, like, I don't know why I think this, but they just feel like Toronto. Like, they feel like the American Maple Leafs.
Yeah.
Like, they're just so close, and then they get to that conference final, and it's boom, you're dead.
Yeah,
boom, you're just getting destroyed by whoever's there.
Fantastic regular season. And, I mean, they whooped up on us last year. They ended us. They ended our chances of going to the playoffs last year. And our miracle, we can make the playoff every year run.
Part of it was that we lost to San Jose every game, but Carolina did put the final blow in.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
They put the final nail in the coffin.
Yeah.
I mean, now you're getting into some smaller name guys with these last ones on this list. I mean, you got Thomas Hartley. And I
don't even know this brother.
He's decent. He's a forward guy. It's been a slow growth of this guy. They haven't rushed him. They've let him grow. But, I mean, he brings offensive side to the game. And, I mean, offensive defensemen win games in the NHL.
Yeah,
but
I'm
you have to
looking
take
at it.
They took Sutter. Suter got released. They bought him out, let him go. So clearly there has to be a plan for him to step into a role because they're running on lower amounts of defensemen here.
Yeah, this is his first full season playing NHL minutes, 21 minutes a night this year. These stats are kind of crazy, bro. Like, how have I not heard of this guy? 15 goals, 32 assists as a defenseman in 79 games.
I mean,
where did this kid come from? He's only 22. He's 6'3", 205. He's a big boy. Like, how does Dallas keep doing this, dude? Like, they really make me mad that they do this so well.
It's Texas. Everything's bigger in Texas, you know?
They're so good at developing big boy defensemen, and then they're kind of like, their mentality of how they raise these players is just so good. Like, it's crazy. Great culture down there. I hate that they're so good. But
and that's the thing. I mean, you got Heiskanen, who's that cornerstone. And, I mean, now basically, if you can get Harley to just be a better John Klingberg going forward, I think you're going to come out in a better team in the long run. Because Klingberg couldn't defend. He can go score you a goal, but he ain't going to protect the net. So you might as well know you're giving up a goal every time he's out there.
Yeah, I'm going to have to dive into this kid a little bit more about his defensive, statistics. But
he's 6'3", so,
it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
He's got a long reach.
Yeah.
That's all you need to know. That's
But,
crazy. Crazy, man.
all right, looks like we got Cole Perfetti next. You know, the dilemma of the Winnipeg Jets. You know, every single one of their prospects. Can I please get traded? Well, you haven't even signed yet, or you've only played a season. I don't want to play here. No one wants to play in Winnipeg. And this is the root of the issue. Who wants to play in Winnipeg? No one.
No one. And it sucks because their fans are amazing.
Yeah.
Like, every time I see them in the playoffs, I'm like, the Whiteouts are so sick. Like, they're banging, man. The arena is literally going to explode when they play, and that's just Canada, right?
Yeah.
But, like, these players, they just don't – they hate it.
Yeah.
Like, even the big-name guys that are there, like Scheifele and Hellebuck, like, I just never see them rave about it, you know, like.
The only guy I think you have probably heard rave about it was Dustin Byfuglien, and then he vanished off the face of the earth.
Yeah, he was so good.
I mean, but you go back 2019 playoff run. That was a team. That was a team.
They ran into the Magic.
They ran in the Magic of the Blues, you know?
That was it.
The Gloria run forever and always.
I know.
But, I mean, this is the second guy that, I mean, clearly doesn't want to be there. I mean, you had the guy that refused to sign with them and had to get traded to Philadelphia. Or where do you go? Philadelphia? No.
I'm not even sure who you're talking about.
There was a guy they had. Well, they've had a couple prospects now that just have elected for college free agency. We're going to ride out our 4 years and then I'm not signing with you. So, I mean.
Even blame them.
No. And I think they are the worst team in the Central Division going into next year.
They might be. I think that they're such a weird, fluky team. Like, I literally picked them to win the Stanley Cup last year in one of my brackets, and they lost, you know, obviously. Yeah. But they're so fake. You can just tell that the locker room ain't it. Like, the leaders there don't really, like, I don't know, the mental stature of Winnipeg as a whole is so bad that they trick everybody into thinking they're good.
Your goalie
is a Vezina Trophy winner.
But he has to play every single game all year long, and by the time he gets to the playoff, the man is broke down, beat, and can't win in the playoffs.
Yeah.
That's why a 1A, you can have a 1A. You can have a 2B. That's fine. But the guy's got to give the guy a break. Hellebuck cannot play 60-plus games a year and then be expected to be in the same form by the time he gets to the playoffs.
No.
I'm sorry. No. We are not in the era of the Marty Brodeurs where they can play all year and then still be the freak of nature in the playoffs.
Right.
They're Patrick Waz. Like, goalies don't play that way. The last one that's playing in this era is Marc-Andre Fleury. That is the only guy, and he's at the tail end where he can't do that anymore either.
No.
But I think Winnipeg's got a lot to look at, and they got to step back and see, are we going full rebuild? Or are we going to sell everyone off? Because I feel like at this point, Scheifele's got to go, Eller's got to go, Kyle Connor got to go, and like you and I talked, we'll take Kyle Connor off your hands. No worries. We'll take a 30-goal scorer. We'll put him on the left wing on the first line.
Shit.
That's fine. Little Bucci Thomas. Yeah, he could be a 50-goal scorer on some of these teams.
Thomas would have 80 assists.
Oh, that's great. Thomas finally breaks the 100-point plateau, getting Kyle Connor on that line. But we'll see. New Jersey. What are we expecting with Dawson Mercer?
You know what? This kid, man, they themselves, the Devils, have so many insanely talented, skillful young guys, and this kid is just another example. Like, every time I seem to watch a Devils highlight, he's in it. I don't know what it is about him. He's so good. I don't know why he's not signed, extended, whatever. If an offer sheet were to come for this kid, it would be a big blow. I don't think the Devils would be too screwed by it, but he really needs to stay there. He is a game changer.
Needs to stay there. He's a winger. He's played some center for them, and that's a hot commodity in the league. If you can play center and winger and be proficient in both areas, you got to stay around. But also, I don't think Jersey has the money to keep him. If someone comes in and gives this kid the money he deserves, much like Seth Jarvis, I mean, if a team has the capital to give these draft picks, and they're offering the $6, $7, $8 million range. I mean, you're looking at 4 first-round picks or a little bit under that, which,
Yeah,
I mean, it's a lot to give up.
it
And you're
is.
betting on the future. So,
You
I mean,
really are.
the teams, but the other thing, much like Broberg and Holloway, the players have to be willing to accept the contracts. That is the corner of this, is that guys can get the money they want, but some guys, like, I feel like a Seth Jarvis is like, I want to get paid, but I don't want to go to a crappy team. So that's why he's not in San Jose right now.
Right. Right.
But I mean, I think it's safe to say everyone on this list, I think, is probably going back to their teams.
Yeah.
I find it very hard, and I think everyone has the potential to match. I think Jersey would probably have an issue, but I think they'd ship some lower tier guys out to keep Dawson Mercer.
Of course, dude.
Or it's they're going to try to do this. We'll match. We can be 10% over the cap, and then we're shipping them out in a trade.
Right. And I think that, our viewers and our listeners, I prefaced this at the beginning. I said we love you guys, and we love how crazy that our diehard hockey fans can think. Like, these contracts and these weird offer sheets and shit that happens. Like, it's just speculation.
Yeah.
If you're going to hate on us, we're going to hate on you right back, because we know you have a crazy fucking trade in your head with your crazy team. And you know that you want it to happen so bad, and we want it to happen for you too. Like, if any of these were to happen, any of these get offer sheeted, bro, like, the league would implode. Just like Edmonton is in fire right now.
Edmonton's in fire. And I mean, when was the last time that the Blues were just in everyone's conversations in the NHL? Not since
when we won the cup.
Yeah, we won the cup. Oh, last place to a cup win. Oh, cool. Blues, St. Louis, 50 years, finally won something, guys.
Got it.
We got it. Cool. Check that one off. But like, now Armstrong is like, I'll do this to my mother if I have to. And I mean, the man decided he could improve the team, and he did. So, I mean, he's taken all the right steps to get us better. So,
and that is such a underappreciated position. Like, he's been Canada's GM for God knows how long, and they always pick him.
yeah.
Like, the Blues fans, we don't, like, I've obviously hated on Armstrong. Like, we all have.
Everyone has.
And the big part that we need to realize is that we have always been competitive. It might not seem like we're good. We always been close. Like,
there's always a shot.
Won the damn thing off craziness from Armstrong. Like, why not again?
Yeah.
Or why not do it the right way?
Do it the right way.
People don't realize that it might take a little bit of time. And
like you said,
the time.
He could have got us to a 30-win team. We could have been like a San Jose getting the top 5 pick. But then everyone would have been bitching about that. We're awful. Armstrong should be fired. What are we doing? He's trying to keep us competitive, but also rebuild. And if you can find me a GM that can do that better, you let me know. But as of right now, Armstrong still is that guy.
He is. I mean, he's top 3 GMs.
Oh, for sure.
He might be the best, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
It's insane. And
he owns it. But here's the other thing. You can't have a good GM without a good ownership group. And Tommy Stillman, our Lord and Savior, who prevented the Blues from leaving, kept it as a local ownership group, he's backing the team. And he opens up his checkbook to buy players and get the team better. Much unlike our St. Louis Cardinals ownership, who does not want to improve the team.
Let's not talk about that.
Yeah, I know. The Cardinals way.
Can't fucking stand them. Get me out of here, man.
Oh, God.
I love them to death, but Jesus.
Yeah. It's like your family. You can talk bad about your family. Anyone else talks bad, it's a fight. So we can hate on our own teams, but no one else can.
Yeah, we'll go crazy on the burner account.
Oh, gosh. Nick Robertson. All right. Living in his brother's shadow. I'm sorry. I hate to do that. It sucks, but
it is.
Jason is the better forward and over in Dallas. I mean, Nick, you're a third, fourth line player.
Yeah.
You're in Toronto, though. So, I mean, are you a casualty of the cap? Probably. Do you get a 1-year cheap deal? Probably. Are you moved at the deadline probably to improve the team? I would say yes, because unless this guy decides he wants to hit and play in an army and a group of guys that want to go to battle every night, he's not going to have a spot on that roster going into next season.
No.
He's a filler.
He is a filler, and he's not a good filler for us. Like we just got our filler, and we offer sheeted him. You know,
Yeah.
it's Dylan Holloway, and we've signed the Joseph brothers. Like such a low key
signing, but solid signing.
Yeah.
Also, Texier from Columbus just means a change of scenery. Anyone that goes to Columbus, your career's just over, unless you're Rick Nash. So, good Lord.
It's kind of, I love that team and that city just because, like, they remind me of us. And, like, they're...
Also, they got a cannon in their arena.
Well, which is crazy.
It's awesome.
But, I mean, everyone who played there say, they're like, it's such a good city. Like, it's great. It's affordable. Like, downtown's fun. Like, you know what I mean? It's just, the ownership group is so blah. And
it's blah. But you got John Davidson.
They just kind of regrouped it a little bit. Why the hell did they get Mike Babcock in there for like 10 days and then he started like going on TikToks? What did he do? He was like looking through kids' text messages and they're like 18. He I'm like, this guy's a fucking loser.
Nut job. And he would take their phones and then he'd airdrop or airplay it to the screen in the locker room. And you're like, dude,
what an
come
asshole.
on. Yeah, clearly. And I mean, he's never coming back. He's not going to be reinstated. He's done.
He better not be.
He's done. He can't do what he's done in the past. He could play with older players who aren't going to take his bullshit. And that's the only way it worked in Detroit. And that's why they always had the older guys. And that was Detroit.
But they were just so good, man.
So good.
Yeah, you say he could be a sleeper pickup, short-term deal, as you said. He's just Nick's gonna be that in the shadow player, brother. It is what it is. He's still an NHL player.
An NHL player. I think
or a really good AHL player. First top six AHL player.
You can never underestimate that tweener player that can play in your AHL team and your NHL team in a bind. Nathan Walker is the epitome of the Blues player to that. Exactly. And I think everyone here, no one's going to tell you they dislike Nathan Walker in this town. Walker's
why
solid.
Would you?
No, you can't dislike him. He is 5'0" and will go run you through the wall, Ryan Reeves. He'll come right at you, and he'll fight you if he has to.
And I hope that Nick Robertson kind of picks up that play style. Like, I don't really see him doing it. Like, he kind of just floats. And that's hard to be. Like, when you play in Toronto, it's hard not to do that, right? Yeah. So, we'll see. Maybe he just needs a gritty team. Maybe he needs to go to, like, I don't even know, Boston.
But here's the thing.
Minutes.
You got the whisperer of players in the good old Toronto now. You have our man who won our 2019 Stanley Cup taking you all the way. So, I mean, maybe
he could be the change.
Maybe he could be the change, but you never know.
To me, it's really fun seeing them lose all the time because their fans are just brutal. They're just as bad as Boston. But if Chief did give him over to that hump into at least the conference final, I would feel pretty happy for him just because it's Chief.
It's Chief. So, I think that's the guy. He will always be loved by everyone. I'm fine if they put a statue outside of Enterprise for that man.
I know.
All right. Sammy Blais, Verana, and Logan Brown getting some minor deals and some tryouts. Good Lord. Let's run it back, boys. Anyone making teams? I don't think so.
It's such a good segue off Nick Robertson because it's, like I said, guys just kind of float, or they're just AHL players, man. They're just not caliber. And to me, Sammy Blais, he did exactly what he needed to do. And when he did it, it was so good. I mean, clap bombs over the shoulder of goaltenders after they got drilled in the face with a Parayko slap shot in the playoffs. Like, Ben Bishop was scared shitless. Like, you take that slap shot and you score that fucking goal, Sammy. And that shit is amazing. Just once the whole Chief debacle with like who even knows what really happened with the internal Kyrou, blah blah blah, whatever. We all hated Kyrou for a week and then we loved them again. Like Blay was never going to be the same.
No, and he was never the same player after the injury.
Such a big part of it too.
Such a big part. And I mean, some guys come back fine after injuries. I just don't think Sammy has that second gear anymore.
No.
And Sammy helped us win that cup. Forever will be loved in this town. But he's a filler player. So, I mean, Vancouver gives him an AHL contract. So that shows you where we're at right now. Blues let him walk. We weren't bringing him back. You get an AHL contract with a PTO for the Vancouver Canucks. I mean, I don't think he makes that team. I think he starts in the AHL. He probably comes up throughout the year because they're going to have some injuries, like every team does. But I think we're seeing the end of Sammy Blais, and I hate to see it because Sammy was a great player for us and a great Blue. But I think Sammy's done, and the man brought us Pavel Buchnevich. So like, also hats off. We appreciate you.
Yeah, he is. He's done. I don't see any world where he can make a team that's ready to win the Stanley Cup like Vancouver is. At least they're close, right? But I mean, like, he's not Dakota Joshua anymore. And Dakota Joshua was better than he was ever already. So it's like they already have that guy, and he's better. So, just have Sammy play some AHL minutes if he really wants to. But if he's hurt, he can't do anything with that fucking shoulder, bro.
No. Let him go to the AHL. Let him put a C on his chest and retire and show guys how to make it to the league and be the O'Reilly's older brother, Cal O'Reilly, the AHL champ. Just let him be that mentor.
I know. I agree.
The failed experiment of Jacob Verana. He's not making the Capitals.
You don't think so?
I don't know. I mean, maybe he makes the team, but
I'm trying to their team is so weird now. Like, I don't even know. Like,
we got Pierre-Luc Dubois, baby. Pierre-Luc Dubois, full contract. What are we doing, Washington?
Maybe they signed him or they traded him or whatever to Washington so that Ovi can just freaking kick his ass every day in the locker room, and maybe his mental will change. So,
God! I don't. I guess I had high hopes when the Blues got him, and then they clearly just fizzled out.
He didn't fit in because we already have like our floaty sniper guys, and we already have our Sods and our Kyrous that kind of float and get their chances and score. Like, we didn't need it.
And let's be honest, he's a Walmart brand Mike Hoffman.
Which is saying how bad that is saying how not good he is.
Yeah, and here's the thing, like, Mike Hoffman, he's not going to play defense. He's going to watch the guy skate past you. He's going to go to the bench to not get the minus point. Verana just can't score on the power play. At least Mike Hoffman, at least you knew you were getting a goal if he was out there on the power play. Verana couldn't even do that for you. And then he didn't even do anything in the AHL.
No.
So clearly the guy's he's done too.
His mental, ever since he went in and out of the player protection program too, we don't need to go into detail about what it was, but it supposedly was a good habit, right?
Yeah.
It's just so weird. Like, I mean, if he does make the team, Pierre-Luc Dubois is going to want to put him, like, he's going to want to go back into the player protection program because BLD is such a bad dude. Like, he's also awful.
Well, I don't know at this point. Pierre-Luc Dubois gets paid the bank and has not done anything. And clearly didn't work out in Winnipeg, didn't work out in LA. Can it work out? And it didn't work out in Columbus either. And, I mean, I don't see it. It's not going to work out in Washington. But let's be honest. Who else does Ovi have to play center with on the first line? Dylan Strome is not your answer for a first-line center.
Strome's so good. Like, I love watching him score goals, but he ain't that guy.
But Strome's a second-line center. So, exactly. I mean, Pierre-Luc, you're playing first line, so you're getting the minutes. Let's see if you can back up the paycheck.
With Ovi, bro.
Ovi's older than you. Ovi's an old man and will probably outskate you, my guy.
He's gonna play harder than him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Segue into our last guy. St. Louis boy. Logan Brown. Top 20 first-round pick. Gets screwed over in Ottawa. It's the Ottawa trifecta, man.
You think it is?
You go to Ottawa to rot and die if you're a prospect, unless you're Tim Stützle or Brady Tkachuk.
Yeah.
Shabbat.
I guess,
I mean,
they I don't know.
You just can't.
Their fans are great. I don't know why anybody. I think their ownership just sucks. It's another Canadian team with bad ownership.
I think it's also another. You bought the guys that can score, and besides for Brady, who wants to fight everyone on the ice and still score, you love it. But also, you got to get to a point where, like, Brady, you got to stay on the ice, my guy, because you're the only one scoring.
Yeah. I mean, he's just. Oh my God, I don't know what I can say positive about Logan Brown, bro. I don't have anything to say about him. I think he's slow. Yeah. He might have been slower than Sanford when I watched him, and Zach Sanford is my least favorite player.
Do not go hating on my boy Zach. Zach Sanford.
Everybody listening to this, just know that Josh actually liked Zach Sanford. And
I did.
So his opinions are invalid for the rest of the whole entire time we have this podcast. No, but Mr. Legskate's Zach Sanford might have been faster than Logan Brown. I mean, he's a big boy. I saw like glimpses of him like play hard. Other than that, I was like, this guy's just like a deer in headlights, literally.
But Tampa Bay, he's in Tampa Bay.
I mean.
He probably makes that team, if we're honest.
If he makes it, this is your last chance, bro. Be like Nick Paul. Be like Nick Paul. Be a fourth line, third line. Just get in front of people and just fight in the corners, baby. Come on.
He's a big body. Just stand in front of the freaking net.
Pat Maroon.
Keith Tkachuk. David Backes. The man could deflect pucks better than 90% of the league. Just get your body in front of the net.
Backes was so great.
Take me back.
I know. Well, not that far.
Oh.
I wish he could have played Game 7 against us in the cup final. They sat his ass, but it is what it is. That's the Boston mental, right?
I mean, you have to.
All right. What do you think about St. Louis Blues opening night lineup? We have our offer sheet boys, as we stated before. We have our really sneaky kind of pickups for the bottom six. Is there anybody that kind of feeds in or feeds out that is potentially a bigger name, or do you think it's kind of just what it is, right?
I mean, I think looking at the defense, we got too many defensemen right now. Yeah. And I think right now you're looking, do the Blues bring back and run it back with Scotty P? I think this is Scott Perunovich's last chance, much like Logan Brown. All the skill in the world, all the upside in the world, gets injured continuously one year after another. And I hate it because you really want them to make the roster. And I think we saw some upside of Scott Perunovich last year, but I think this is it. I think this is the last shot for Scott Perunovich.
It is, at least with us. When he's healthy, I really do see glimpses of like prime Krug, like young Vince Dunn, where he was still kind of sloppy with it. But like, if he didn't get hurt so much, like he would be like top pairing, right? Or like second pairing. But
and that's the thing. So, I mean, it's going to come down to preseason.
Yeah.
Can Broberg lead your power play? Broberg takes it. If not, Scotty P is getting a shot. But, I mean, locks on your defense. So, your first pair, Leddy, Parayko.
Yeah.
Pretty secure.
They were pretty decent last year. I steady Leddy.
Leddy.
I don't want to segue too much, but this dude, the signing was so good. I think he's the most steady, like, D-man on our team, which is saying a lot. Like, even though he's just Nick Leddy.
And that's okay.
He's not like fucking anything fucking enormous name, right? He's Nick Leddy, but he was so good every time I watched him. But
And
anyways,
sleeper statistic: Colton Parayko and Letty led the league in 5-on-5 ice play. Like,
crazy.
so you
They
got
were
them
out
leading
there
your
all
way.
the time.
I think Broberg, $4.5 million. He better be in your top four.
Has to be.
Has to be, and I think he's playing with Justin Falk.
Okay.
I think that's your top four, and then rounded out the bottom is Matt Kessel. He has done everything to show you he should be in the starting lineup.
Yes.
And then old man Ryan Suter.
It's so funny that signing kind of slept under the radar. I personally think it's funny and good.
I mean, I would
Like,
have loved him about 5 years ago when he was in still solid form, but I mean, let him
he's
play.
fine, dude. You know,
We we will see. And then that's six defensemen. I don't see them carrying eight. If they're carrying eight, I think that is a disaster.
that is a
So
disaster.
I,
It's
I
too much
think
moving parts.
you're you got three guys battling out for the last spot, being Pierre, Oliver, Joseph, which I think he is the seventh defenseman in my opinion,
Okay.
because I'm taking a man that's 6'2", 190 pounds, 6'3", 100, 200 pounds kind of guy, first round draft pick, over a Tyler Tucker and a Scott P.
I agree. I
And
mean, even if Scotty P like shows that he is somehow the second coming of Christ, he's gonna get hurt again.
yeah,
He's gonna get hurt again, and that is where we need that big body. And I do love the Joseph signing, like both of them.
yeah.
I think he's your guy. He's an NHL player. Tyler Tucker's not. We've seen him out there play, and he's kind of just wild with it. I don't. He can fight.
And he
Fucking.
can
He
fight.
can chuck the bits, right?
Yeah,
But
the
he's not a good scratch defenseman, right? You
no.
don't want him on your third pairing with Matt Kessel, who can honestly is so good.
So good,
Like he needs
underappreciated,
someone who
underrated.
he needs someone who's also solid.
Yeah,
So
and I mean, they don't have to play. They can play 17 minutes a night with Matthew Kessel, and Kessel was
yeah,
playing on your second pair last year for half the year, so he can eat more minutes.
he played pretty good. I
And he
almost
played
like
good.
my prediction was Pareko, Letty, Kessel, Broberg, and then Falk, and either Joseph or Suter, I guess.
And I mean, but here's the thing: Suter came here. I don't see Suter signing a contract if he's not saying he's going to be in the starting lineup.
I mean, really though, I guess.
I mean, he was still playing decent in Dallas until the buyout, which I know there was a speculation about the locker room issues. He doesn't like coaching young players. But the interviews
Who
you've
gives a
heard from
shit?
him, he has accepted he's in the ending parts of his career.
Of course.
So, I mean, I think there's the opportunity. I think
Yeah.
your goalies are set. It's Bennington and Hofer.
Yes.
But the forwards, I think it's going to be a lot of battle in training camp to see who makes this team.
No doubt.
And I think your first line, I'm thinking it's probably, are you going to Neighbors, Thomas, Bucci? Neighbors, Thomas, Kyrou?
I know. I don't know how I feel about having Bush and Kyrou and Thomas on the same line again. I almost want it to be. I almost want Neighbors out there, but I don't think he should be. Like I'm in that weird crossroads where it's probably going to be Kyrou, Thomas, Bush, and that's just because they're the three best players on the team.
And I think a guy I wish would be on that top line is Bolduc, but I think Bolduc might be on the outside looking in. And
I agree.
I think
He needs to prove it still.
Yeah. And so, I mean, the big question mark that's going to drive how this goes, who is your second line center? Is it Dalibor Dvorsky? Is he ready? I think he's still too young, but I mean, he has the pro mentality, and I don't want to hinder his growth.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think he's ready at all.
But I don't want Pavel Buchnevich being your second line center because Pavel Buchnevich is a winger. He is not a
Yes,
center.
never.
He is not a center for this
He's
team.
not meant to take fucking face-offs. I would literally rather have Shen at second line center.
Yeah.
So we'll see. It should be Bushi and Cairo on the wing with Thomas feeding them pucks all day long.
Yep.
So we'll see with that. That should be your three.
And
The second line, like you said, who's it gonna be? Like
probably Schenner. It's gonna have to be Schenner.
I think it has to be Shen, only because the other options are just they're bottom six guys, dude. Like
you got Radek Foxa, you got freaking Texier, who
nope.
You got the experiment of maybe Dylan Holloway playing center.
I know, and I don't really know how I feel about that, and I don't know how he's going to be receptive to that personally. I think he wants to score goals and get fed pucks. So
and I think here's the thing: if you go your first line like we're talking, I think the only thing is if you throw a neighbor Shen Holloway as your second line, that's a nasty line of
that's a dirty
grit, and they're driving the front of the net.
That might be penalties all day too.
Oh yeah. I mean, no one's saying it's going to be a clean fighting line, but yeah. I think that's where
But I like that. I like it. I think we need more of that in the league in general, dude.
And here's my thing: I think Shen returns to form this year.
I thought he was fine last year.
O'Reilly had to slump his first year here as the captain. I think Shen felt the pressure of being the captain with a team that's underperforming and in a retool. And I think Shen turns it back into the Shenner we want. And hopefully, I think he has some health issues. I think he plays a game that leaves him hurt constantly. So we're going to see.
Yeah, and you know what? He didn't even play bad.
Yeah, I mean,
he's just slower, man. He shouldn't even be playing second minutes. He's like Steen at this point. He needs to be on the bottom six, but we aren't ready for him to be there yet.
Yeah.
So if we can fill in that center spot, then he's going to be the best third or fourth line center in the league, dude. He's 20 goal scorer.
Yeah. And I mean, jump into your third line. I think it's safe to say, Torpachenko has to be on your third line. Torpo's on your third. And here's the next debate if you're playing at your third and fourth line center. This all comes down to, is Sonny healthy? And I don't know if Sonny's going to be healthy going into this next year right away. So I think it's Texier playing your third line center with Radek Foxa playing your fourth line. I think it could flip flop, but I think it's Texier. So a Torpo, Texier, Matthew Joseph, or no, you know who we're forgetting here? Saad, Texier, Torpo.
I don't mind that. I almost thought that Saad and Shen would stay together, but that's zero defense. So it needs to be Neighbors and Shen on the second line. So I like Texier, bro. I don't know what it is about him. I just feel like he's gonna break out and he's gonna be a stud. I think him and Saad they're both gonna at least get 15. I don't know what it is. So I like that third line a lot, for sure.
So, I mean, that leaves you those, and then you move to the bottom group. You got who are you looking at left here for them?
It's like Foxa and center.
Foxa or Sonny. You got Nathan Walker.
I don't know why. I don't know why he's just not on the fucking roster, dude. Like, why is he not playing fourth line minutes for us all year long? Why is he getting scratched?
Also, and here's the thing: the man showed you he could play center, so maybe that's your fourth line center going into into the season with Texier playing a wing,
maybe
with a Radek Fox on your third line.
Let's think about Texier for a sec, because his face-off percentage is dog shit.
But let him work with Steve Ott. Let the mastermind fix you.
Let's not forget that Steve Ott is so good. But I agree. Like, that's a possibility. I think Nathan Walker's just like so good.
He's the man from the down under has to be on this team. Like, I don't know how you don't make him.
He is blue collar hockey. He is St. Louis Blues hockey. It's so annoying to think that he's not playing every night.
So
To
then,
me, personally.
here's your bubble players. I mean, you have Zach Dean. I
Mm,
find it hard that he's on this team. I think he is in the AHL. Bolduc.
agreed.
Are they keeping a Bolduc to play on your bottom six? I don't think so. I think Bolduc is first line minutes on your AHL team. So then you have Cappy. You got Kasperi Kapanen.
Fuck, I forgot about bro.
Oh,
Wait,
yeah, we brought that
wait.
man back for $1 million. You know, he ain't going
Cappy's
to bring you
he's
much.
gotta play quality minutes. There's no way he's not playing third line minutes, right?
Oh, he's playing fourth line, third line. That's Matt. But then who
Fuck.
are you dropping? Is Texier playing? I don't think Texier is a fourth line player.
No, he's third line with
So
us.
that means Torpo, who just had a career goal scoring season, drops down to your fourth line.
Yeah, but if he's playing with Nathan Walker, it's the best fourth line in the league. So
It's true.
he
That's
will score at least.
That's
10.
a 2019 kind of fourth line.
I don't know why the vision isn't right there, man. Like, just let Nathan Walker and Torp play together, dude. Like, it just makes so much sense to me.
And then I think the other guy that no one is talking about is Marcus Silvegaard, who they brought over from Sweden. He's not flashy. He's a bottom six guy. He's 6 foot, 190 pounds.
Okay.
He led his team, I believe, in the Swedish Hockey League in goals last season.
Jesus, who is this guy?
Swedish Hockey League. This man that played 51 games, scored 23 goals, 18 assists, was a plus 21.
Good for him.
So I mean, he is fast.
Okay.
But I think his defense is crap. So,
well,
I mean,
it's kind of a bubble player then, right? I don't know.
We got a lot of you're carrying 2 extra forwards and 1 extra defenseman.
Yeah.
So, I think you're figuring guys sitting on in the press box every night is probably a Kapanen.
I don't know. I think Kapanen's in the lineup, and I think it might be like. I think it's Nathan Walker, dude.
Yeah, and I think he's okay with it. It sucks, but it's got to be someone that you're not losing development with.
Yes, he's okay with it because he's still getting paid, bro. This buddy just wants to be living. You know, he's happy to be doing what he loves, and if it's for freaking 20 games, he's doing it. You know, so
I mean, so you're looking at your third line of a, let's say, Texier or Holloway center in it. I think we probably say Texier. I think is the way it's going to go.
Yeah.
Your wings are Sod and
Cappy.
So then that puts your fourth line secured then. Matthew Joseph with Radek Faksa and Alexei Torpchenko.
Yeah.
Which I'm not disappointed with because that is the 5 minutes left in the game. You're up by 1 goal. I'm okay putting them out there on a defensive zone faceoff to shut it down.
Yeah, Faxa's pretty fucking good at least at winning faceoffs and playing hard. Like
it is a Tyler Bozak is signing. Mm-hmm. End of his career, good at faceoffs, good in his own zone, has playoff experience.
Might tuck a couple, you know.
Yeah, I mean, he's not going to light it up. He maybe gets 10 goals.
Maybe
gets 10 goals, but he plays your penalty kill.
Yep.
And he is perfectly fine. And Matthew Joseph, playing your penalty kill.
I agree.
That was Ottawa's #1 penalty killer last year.
I agree.
And we 100%. Just brought him up.
That's why he needs to be in the lineup.
You know? But I think training camp is going to be a huge one for us because I don't think anyone besides for your top 6 are safe this season. I mean...
Yeah, and I think that's the fun part about having a retool, right? Where your team is on the cusp of being horrible, but there's still that glimmer of hope for us fans to be like, if we can put it together, we might get, instead of 92 like last year, we might get 95 points. We sneak in, and we give a little bit of trouble.
Yeah,
we give a little bit of trouble to that #1 seed. They're like, "Who the fuck are these guys?"
And then
who's Texier? Where are you from, bud? He's like, "Don't fucking talk to me. We're here to win hockey games." Right? Like, you know, I hope
we'll see if Nikita Alexandrov, who is a RFA for us right now, is he re-signed? I don't think so. I think the Nikita Alexandrov experiment is over.
Yep,
he got plenty of opportunity last year. I mean, crazy part is, he was a 2nd-round draft pick. And, I mean, what he finished with last season? 23 games, 2 assists, -4.
Ugh. Come on.
I just find it very hard to believe that he gets a spot on this team. And I think the guy would love to make this team. Everyone, I think, in St. Louis would love Dalibor Dvorsky to make it because that means he came into camp and he was a stud. If not, I think you got to hope Zach Bolduc.
Yeah.
If Zach Bolduc comes in and just proves to you he's ready to go, then I think we're solid. He's in your top 6. And that shifts some guys down, that makes your bottom 6 even better.
Yeah.
Because that means he came in to play. But it's not his to lose, it's his to win. He has to win it. And that requires him to come into camp ready to play.
Yeah, like, are these kids ready to do it, man? Are you ready to be a fucking NHL hockey player? This is your dream, dude.
Yeah.
Like, the fans want you there. We love you already. St. Louis is so welcoming to these players. Like, let's fucking do it, bro. Let's go out there. Let's trust the process. Like, listen to the older guys. Maybe not Ryan Suter, but
yeah,
but like your captain wins, and he plays hard. Like, let's do it, baby. Come on. I hope he cracks the lineup.
The last guy we're waiting on, the big question mark, is Jimmy Snuggerud signed with the Blues once his college season's over, and I have some doubts. I know Jeremy Rutherford will say that he's talked to him, he's going to sign, he wants to finish his business in, was he at Michigan? Yeah.
Minnesota.
Minnesota. You know, he's in Minnesota. And I'm worried he's going to opt out. This is our last shot. But I think after the Blues signing all these young guys, I think he'd be stupid not to try to come. Because
I agree.
He solidifies. He plays in your top 6. He fixes your power play. He has a NHL caliber wrist shot already.
Yes, exactly.
But it's if he wants to step into a role where he's not going to be the number 1 guy, and that's okay. He doesn't need to be that guy, but he has to put the work in. And I think he will, but it's the goal scorer I think we need, and we've been waiting on.
I know. And we have our 40 goal scorer, and that's Jordan Kyrou.
Yeah.
But we need a 30.
Yep.
And if that can be Snuggy and not Bushi, like if Bushi can just play his game, you know, he'll get 20, 25. But if we can get just another sniper, power play sniper, tuck 30, bud, like get people off Kyrou's back for a little bit, you know, like so he can tuck 40. Like it's such a big part of it.
Let Jimmy be that one-timer on the power play that we have not had. The last guy that was our one-timer, David Perron. That was our last one-time guy on the power play.
My fucking boy, man.
And, I mean, God rest his soul, I wish he would have came back and he went to the graveyard of Ottawa, but, I mean,
he didn't want to talk to Doug.
No. Doug, as much as we love you, as much as we support you, you burnt that bridge and you burnt every dream and hope every Blues fan had of another reunion of the man that leaves, comes back, leaves, comes back, leaves, comes back.
I know. All right, so finalized lines we have. Listen, viewers, sorry, we love to ramble. Kyrou, Thomas, Bush, easy. First line. Second line.
I think we're going Schenner, Neighbors, and Holloway.
I like that. Third line, Texier centering, Saad, and Cappy on the wings. Just because they're old NHL boys. You know, they've been doing it. There's no way they're not making the lineup.
Fourth line, Radek Faksa centering with Torpo and Matthew Joseph.
I like it.
And that leaves Nathan Walker sitting. And realistically, if Silvergard makes it, or we're carrying 2 extra defensemen, which puts you Scotty P and Tyler Tucker.
Yeah.
I think time will tell.
Yeah.
And you never know what Doug will do. Maybe some of these extra defensemen get you a veteran kind of guy to sit and just kind of sit there up in the press box every night.
We'll see. Does Ryan Suter just want to make his money and retire a Blue, or does he want to play? Who wants to actually retire a Blue, right? Marty Brodeur, that's who does, bitch. Anyways. All right.
All right.
Final segment of the pod. We appreciate you guys sticking around. We love you guys. Josh and I are going to we're going to give you guys our way too early Cup Finals predictions. This is like, obviously this is something that's so dumb, but it's so great at the same time, because if it hits, you're like, I fucking told you so in August. Like, dude, I told you this crazy team was going to make it.
If
And
I would have bet that $5, I would have made $1,000 by the end of the year.
And this one is sponsored by. No, I'm kidding. We don't have any sponsors. Anyways,
We have an email. Emails, folks. We will advertise your company for low prices.
Manscaped, DraftKings. What else? Anything.
Joe Fozzie's will take you. Anything.
Yep. Skate STL. Shout out Augie. Anyways, all right. Do you want to start with this? Do you want to say who your prediction?
I think Florida runs it back, and
they two-peat.
I think they're like the Tampa, where we're in an era here where I think Florida takes it back. I think they struggle through the playoffs instead of winning nonstop.
True.
But I think they win again. I think Matthew Tkachuk, he takes them back. I mean, Bob may be on his tail end of this, but I think Bob finishes up this year, and I think this could be the one last trip for Bob to take you back to the Stanley Cup. But I think they win it. Who they're playing? I think Dallas. Dallas makes the finals. It's a Dallas versus Florida, and it goes 7. And I think Florida wins. But that's my take. I mean, it'll change about 15 times by the end of the year. I
agree. We'll keep note of this just because I'll say it's the first one that you said.
Oh, yeah, of
but
course.
If it does change, it is what it is, right? You're like, oh, I guessed it halfway through the season. No. I don't know. Florida, they made some interesting moves to keep the team together. I think they're still so fucking good. They're pretty much identical, but there's a couple things that they changed up, You
lose some defense, but you're still so deep in defense.
I agree. It's interesting. I don't have them just because I think it's one of the hardest things to do is to go back-to-back Stanley Cup champions. Yeah. There's only been, obviously the Canadiens way back in the day, and then Pittsburgh recently. So, I guess Tampa, but one of them was kind of a
COVID year. Doesn't count. We would have won the cup if we were there, but
it was a little bit of a Disney Cup, but it is what it is. It's still back-to-back. Their names are on the cup, so yeah. I don't know. It's nearly impossible to do. I do believe that would be the team to do it if it was, but it's not going to happen. I hate this so much. I have the Stars in 6 over, you guessed it, the New Jersey Devils.
Oh, man.
I think last year was such a fluke year for them. They had so many injuries. They just went out. They got Vezina caliber goalie. They're backing up with a Stanley Cup champion who backed up Jordan Binnington and Jake Allen, who's fucking stud and will do anything to help his teammates for sure. Their defense core is solid again. They have to consider extending Mercer just to maybe give him a little confidence before the playoffs. I don't know. I think he still scores 25 or something this year. But if they can keep Jack Hughes and all of them healthy, I think they just power through. I don't know what it is. I think the Rangers are going to get shocked by them first round, and then they're going to have to play like whoever it is, Carolina or whatever. They're going to fucking roll through them because Carolina's cursed, and then they're going to have to run into Florida, and that right there is 7 games of just brutal hockey against Matt Tkachuk. And we'll see, but I think the Devils do make it, but I think they lose. They get gassed against a Dallas team that is just, for some reason, in my opinion, way better than everybody in the Western Conference. You look at Colorado's, they'll make it. They're not beating Dallas. I don't know why people think that. Maybe if Nathan McKinnon goes fucking nuts, but their goalie sucks. Their defense doesn't play defense. to me
No,
personally.
yeah,
Like their stats say otherwise, but in the big moments, I don't see them like locking down like a solid, gritty team like Dallas, and then Winnipeg's not even making the playoffs.
no, yep,
Vegas joke this year. They might be worse than freaking Colorado, and then the West Coast teams, they all suck. So I don't know. Or Nashville is a sleeper just because of what they did this offseason, which is crazy, and we didn't even talk about it. But I don't think they'll be 100% ready to get past Dallas, who literally has been there like 4 years in a row. So
yeah,
I think Dallas finally does it. First cup in over 20 years without the foot in the crease, and they just dominate whoever's there.
for sure.
So we'll see.
All right, folks. Well, that's our first 5-minute major podcast. We did it. We did it. Look out for more. Plan on releasing every Sunday with new updates about the Blues.
Yes.
All things hockey.
Yes.
And whatever the hell comes to our mind.
Yep.
But we appreciate you guys. We love you guys. And Mike, we fucking did it, my guy.
We'll be back. We'll keep talking. We'll have some good predictions at the start of the regular season in like October, and then throughout the next couple weeks before prospect camps, it'll just be kind of like this, where we're just kind of going through some weird, crazy, wacky stuff, and once we start really researching about our prospects and other teams, then we'll start actually having like pretty in-depth conversations. Like Josh and I work pretty close to where they have the free practices and stuff, and we'll go there together, or I'll go there and we'll take notes, and
we'll try to bring you some good perspectives throughout the year. So this is beginning, a little bit of the trial, but we'll bring you some good Blues coverage throughout the season, not only from watching it on TV, but in person with us going to quite a few games this year.
100%.
All right, folks. Tune in next week for another episode.
Let's go, baby. Talk to you later.